What's up everyone? The veto meeting has taken place, leaving only 2 nominees left on the block for the week, but find out who they are right here guys, and who is actually going to be evicted from the Big Brother house this week. We've got so much to talk about guys, so welcome to your live feed update. Question of the day now folks, I'd love to hear if you folks would like to see a battle back this season from the jury. Would you like to see somebody from the jury return to the house to get a second chance to compete essentially and see how far they can get? I would imagine it's going to be obviously Brittany versus Derek X versus likely Sarah Beth and Alyssa or Claire next week. So would you like to see one of them return to the game? Should there be a jury battle back? Alright folks, so we start the day with Kyland waking up from the have-not room. He decided to sleep in the have-not room the night before because I don't know if it's like a thing where he's kind of realised maybe he's annoying people, kind of pissing people off. We were discussing this, you know, in yesterday's video, sort of talking about how he has the numbers no matter what. The Cookout are not going to betray their own alliance, you know. As we said, their mission statement is something bigger than they keep saying this throughout the season, you know, it's bigger than any one of us. So he doesn't need to necessarily campaign whilst being on the block because Sarah Beth's going to be heading out the door anyway. So I think you know, all these monologues that he's giving people, I referred to him as Larry King yesterday because literally as soon as he's on the block or he's in a position of power, it becomes a chat show and he's interviewing people, and it can rub people the wrong way, as it has very much so, and people are really starting to not be a fan of being around Kyland. We'll get onto this a bit later as well in regards to what the blow up and something that actually trended on Twitter in the United States actually happened later last night. But you know, he ended up sleeping in the have-not room, and you know, the fact that he's distancing himself from everyone, he must feel a vibe where people are starting to go, I'm not a big fan of Kyland, because I mean, why else would you do it? You know, it's not good for your social game. I guess it's, you know, damage control for your social game, if anything. So, you know, maybe he's starting to realise, which is a good thing, because he does need to tone it down when it comes to his monologues and really just talking too much sometimes when he doesn't even need to. He's going to be safe anyway. Cookout are going to evict Sarah Beth. He doesn't need to panic. Alright folks, so the veto meeting did take place and Hannah decided to use the power of veto on Xavier. So now that Xavier he was the 3rd nominee, there will be no replacement for the 3rd nominee. Had she taken Karl or Sarah Beth off the block, then Claire would have had to put somebody else up, but she didn't. She took Xavier off. So the final nominees, ladies and gentlemen, for the week and facing eviction on Thursday night, one of these house guests will be leaving the house, very much Sarah Beth, or because, as we said, the Cookout have got the numbers, but folks, Kyland and Sarah Beth will be facing the vote on Thursday night. Sarah Beth told Kyland that she will wait until Wednesday to start her one-on-one campaigns and pitches, which I respect a ton. Listen, y'all have seen me stick up for people when they campaign in the season, because Brittany, there was a week where she was almost certainly safe, but she was still campaigning, and I respected a ton out of that, even though she knew she was safe. And on the flip-flop, you know, on the flippity side, on the flippity flip, as Michael Scott would say, when your back's against the wall, such as Sarah Beth's is, she's still hustling, and I've got so much respect for that. She's not giving in, she's still trying. I just always think back to last year in Big Brother 22, you know, these so-called all-stars, they had their backs against the wall, and so many of them just went, I can't do it, oh, Memphis is going to evict me, Cody's going to evict. Quit crying, stand up and actually try. You can't say and whinge and cry and do all that stuff until you've actually tried, because so many people last year didn't do anything. There was a few people towards the start, I would say, that did something when they're on the block, but there was so many people kind of middle range, you know, where they're just, not all of them, but quite a few of them just kind of were like, oh, there's nothing I can do, I'm just gonna... Quit it, you're an all-star. You're in Big Brother. Try at least. Don't just cry and whinge about it. And that's why I respect Sarah Beth about it, because yes, she's been moping, yes, she's been crying, but guess what she's not doing? She's not lying down. She's standing back up and hustling and trying to get herself safety this week. Now, exciting talk about moving on to next week and who the target will be then. So Arza and Big D were discussing who they think should go next, and Arza was pushing for Alyssa for next week and Big D was pushing for Claire, so it should be interesting to see where that one goes. But this is something that's kind of been doing the rounds. I didn't see this on the feeds, I saw this on Twitter, a clip that kind of went big, where apparently Alyssa had told Claire that she's about to be the last white person left in the house, and then Xavier said that Alyssa needs to go next, leaving Claire obviously at 7th. I think X was saying like Alyssa was about to, you know, get 7th place, but now she needs to go next, leaving Claire obviously taking 7th place at that point, if that was to happen. Of course, this is Big Brother, so expect the unexpected. We don't know. Claire could win HOH next week, Alyssa could win it, and they might not go for each other. It really is kind of an unpredictable game when it does get down to these numbers, because I think whilst we would assume all the cookout, the people outside the cookout are going to go beforehand, there's equally that chance of somebody outside the cookout winning HOH before it gets to F6, and then that blows things up. But I'd put money on this point that somebody from the cookout is going to win the game, and rightfully so. You know, they've played really, really well under the radar, and they've controlled the game. It's not like the committee. It's not like Grateful or the Six Shooters. I think that was their name from BB21. It's not like them where they've kind of been out in the open picking people off. They have literally been under the radar, and you know, whilst Claire and Derek X have been close to cracking them, nothing's been done. So they're doing something right, the cookout, and I've got to take my hat off to them for doing that. But yeah, we're looking at next week the target either being Alyssa or Claire, unless of course one of them wins head of household. Claire can't do that since she was the secret HOH this week, so she has to throw it this week. So Alyssa may win this and shake things up, but otherwise it's someone from the cookout who's going to win it, unless Sarah Beth stays, of course, which isn't going to happen. Someone from the cookout will win, and then Claire or Alyssa will become the target. Hannah has shown she is done with Sarah Beth after last week. She has basically said, look, I sympathise with Sarah Beth because it's tough being on the block, but listen, I think she said something along the lines of she's a 28-year-old grown woman and she can take care of her own feelings. She took $5,000 from Derek X and then sent him out the door. You know, 2 weeks later she was saying that. It's an interesting perspective to look at, because I mean, technically, Derek X could have taken the money from Sarah Beth. He had the opportunity, but I see what Hannah is saying, because Sarah Beth was kind of on the verge of crying when she was basically saying, "Don't take the money from me, Derek X." And then Derek X, you know, he did that kind gesture, and he ended up being the Lord of the Latrine. Sarah Beth would have ended up being the Lady of the Latrine if that had happened. So I guess Derek X did her a favour, but it is a game after all. In my eyes, you know, it's a game, but I can understand on the moral side of things. In essence, Derek X did do that favour for Sarah Beth, and then she only went on to evict him when she didn't even need to. If she hadn't evicted Derek X last week, I mean, heck, who knows? Derek X could have won HOH this week, and Sarah Beth would have had another week of safety. It's all that what if, but you know, you can speculate until the sun comes up, but it's a what if situation. But either way, I do see Hannah's side and I see Sarah Beth's side, but it's a game. SB was talking to Xavier at one point, saying that she doesn't think there's going to be a battle back because of COVID. I've seen a lot of people asking me, Tom, is there going to be a battle back this season? And I mean, the true answer is I don't know. I would tell you guys if I had a feeling, or you know, or I heard a rumor or anything like that. But in my opinion, I would say it's going to be no. However, the popularity of Derek X has been like sky high. I saw somebody compare Derek X to Kesa in the comments. I think it was a couple days back, saying, you know, he's kind of like the modern day Kesa, and I see that. You know, it's kind of like just the one that everybody likes, you know, and not many people are rooting against. And I wouldn't be surprised if they did do a battle back, because it's perfect opportunity for Derek X to come back. I'd be totally on board with it, because I really do enjoy watching Derek X, and I do think he would win the wow, the sun's coming out now, folks, and it's going back. I do think Derek X would win the battle back, because let's be honest, he's going to have to face off against Brittany, SB, and probably either Alyssa or Claire, and Derek X has proven time and time again that he could beat all those people in comps. Christian is probably the only person in the whole cast who could give him a run for his money, and of course Christian's not in the jury, so I would say if they were going to do a battle back, it would probably be because they want to bring Derek X back into the game. I would personally like to see a battle back, but I don't think they're going to do one. But folks, I'd love to hear if you would like to see a battle back this season. That is all of your live feed updates for today, folks. I thoroughly hope you all enjoyed watching. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below of this week. Do you think Claire/Tiffany has been a good head of household? Would you like to see Sarah Beth or Kyland be the target this week? Because I think it could be split down the middle, to be honest, from what people are starting to say recently. And would you like to see a jury battle back, folks? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. But folks, I will say as I always do, make sure that you're staying safe, staying positive and staying healthy out there, and be kind to one another, okay? But folks, in the meantime, please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. But until your next live feed update, I've been your host, Tom Vasey. Good night.